Hello and welcome to Petrit Lush. Today we have the Audi Q8 50 TDI. It's supposed to be a Q7 which is made a bit more sporty, but it's not simply a Q7 with some sporty tweaks here and there, but it actually has a completely different bodywork. Now, it's pretty much an SUV with a coupe line, just like the Mercedes GLE and the BMW X6, and it's also supposed to rival those. So let's talk about the exterior, the interior, and of course the infotainment system. So let's go. So let's first talk about the engine. This 50 TDI has about 282 braking horsepower and a 3-liter diesel engine. It goes from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour or 0 to 62 miles per hour in only 6.3 seconds. It has a top speed of 144 miles per hour and about 442 pound-feet of torque. Now let's talk about the differences at the front. Well, first of all, this is the 8-sided grille, and Audi has never used a grille like this before. This is the first time, and we will probably see a lot more of these grilles in the future. You can also notice that the grille blends in perfectly with the headlights. Now these lights are new as well. They actually put the light unit up here and the high beam is below here. This gives a very slim looking effect, and in my opinion I like it a lot. Now another key difference is that the front of the car, the nose, is actually lower than with the Q7. The bonnet as well, but it's a little bit shorter too, but the car is wider, which actually gives it a very nice and sporty wide look. Now to end the front of the car, we can see that it has some nice air vents and very sporty looking bumpers. So let's go to the side and see what the differences are there. Well, let's talk about the side of the car. I've already told you that the car is a little bit wider than the Q7. This also means that the track is wider and it has twisted wheel arches. Now these wheels, they are huge. They come in standard at 20 inch and these are 22 inch. Now these are the beautiful 22 inch wheels and they come standard in 20 inch. But this is the S-line with the 22 inch wheels. Beautiful done. It has a nice contrast over here. It looks very sporty, especially with the red brake calipers. It's simply a beautiful car and beautiful rims. Now when we take a look at the door, we can actually see that it's frameless, and this is something very special and cool that I really like. The height of the car is also a bit lower than with the Q7, and it's about 2.7 centimeters wider than the Q7 as a way of making it more agile and better to handle on the road. When we take a look at these wheel arches here on the back, we can actually see that it mimics those of the short wheelbase Quattro from the 80s, and in my opinion this is something they did very well because I love the look of this. Also at the back we can see that the lights also look a little bit like those from the Quattro. Here you have a better look at the track of the car. This is exactly what I meant. These tail lights with the black panel underneath also seem to come from that Quattro from the 80s. Now something else you have on this on the back of the Q8 is this roof spoiler over here, making it look pretty sporty, but I'm not sure what to think of it. Furthermore, you have these exhaust pipes, and that's something I dislike a lot, is that they are fake. They actually lead to nothing. It's actually closed even. So this is something that I don't like they did. They probably follow the footsteps of, for example, Mercedes with making these fake exhaust pipes, and that's a bad choice in my opinion. Just make them real. Over here you have a nice big Q8 logo, and of course at this side the 50 TDI with the Quattro underneath it. And these lights, they actually do a little dance when you turn them on and off. So let's have a look. So let's have a look at the boot space. Now this is the boot of the car. It has about 650 liters of cargo space with the seats up, and when you fold the seats down you have about 1755. So as you can see, more than enough boot space, even though it has less than the Q7, which has about 770 liters with the seats up and 1955 liters with the seat down. But of course you have to give in a little bit when you want this nice coupe line. So of course you can pull this lever up to reveal some extra space. It is mostly filled up. Of course you can close this as well. So pretty much more than enough space. To close the trunk you have two buttons, one to close the trunk and one to close the trunk and lock the car. So let's close it and let's have a look in front of the car to see what the interior looks like. So let's go. Here we have a better look at the frameless door. As you can see, it looks beautiful. And when we look at the interior, we can first see that the door, you have all the buttons you need. Lock and unlock the car. Here you have the settings where you can set your seat, and here you can change them. So the interior of this car. First of all, it feels very luxurious yet expensive, with a minimalist yet high-tech design. It does follow the A6 and the A8 with this center console thing, but it does have its own design vents. But when we look at the center console, this screen, these two screens over here, and the way this looks is pretty much the same as with the new A6 and the A8. So when we look at the seats of the car, sport seats are standard, but this one are the super sport seats with the S on top of them, and they are even more sporty. The quality is good as always with Audi. It's solid, firm and expensive. And this center console, it doesn't pop out like we see with, for example, some BMW cars and with Mercedes. It's integrated in the system. In my opinion, it looks a lot better, but from experience I can say that when driving, it's a lot more difficult to be touching the screen over here than simply having the screen up there. But luckily with Audi you have a very nice integrated system in the gauge of the car, where you can control almost everything simply from your steering wheel. So with that they pretty much solved that issue and still made it look beautiful. Sport steering wheel with the S logo over here. A lot of shortcut buttons to control the entire car. Flippers over here. Adaptive cruise control over here, where you can set the speed and the distance of the car in front of you. Now when we look at the space of the car, you have two cup holders here and a 12-volt battery charger. Over here you have some storage space as well, although now it seems like you don't have too much storage space. You have your wireless phone charger over here and a little bit of space, but not too much, to be honest. Kind of disappointing. Now over here you have some storage space as well. It looks fine. And at the door some storage space as well, with no cup holders. So yeah, what I like more about, for example, the X6 is that they at least have some cup holders in the doors and a little bit more space in the front. So here we can see the gauge, which is beautiful. So the car is a keyless go. These are the keys. They are pretty small compared to other brands. You have the unlock button, the button for the trunk, and the lock button. You can simply press this to start the car, and you immediately feel that these seats, they press you in place, and that's something pretty cool. Look how beautiful the gauge is. Holy damn, I haven't seen one this beautiful in other cars. That's of course because they use Google Maps, as you can see. A beautiful gauge, beautiful navigation, and you should be able to control everything simply from the steering wheel. I love this a lot because this can be pretty difficult to control when driving. These are huge screens nonetheless. Beautiful navigation. It works flawlessly. Now let's go to the home screen. And we have the radio, media, your phone, your navigation, your vehicle, your settings, help, and user, because you can of course set your own user. You have your messages, your news, and your weather. So let's first check out what we can see in the vehicle. You have to press a little bit harder than with, for example, your phone. You have your Audi Drive Select, and here you can put your car, for example, in efficiency mode, in comfort mode, dynamic, or individual. Now it's simply set on car. You can set it on comfort, and then it's just way more comfortable to drive. Efficiency is of course way more fuel efficient, and dynamic is a bit more for the racing if you want to drive a little bit more aggressively. Now we can also have your car view, and here you can just see a lot of settings for when you're driving. So let's go back, and here we have the seats, and with the seats you can change them somehow. Let's see. So I press left, and this is my seat. Okay, damn. Okay, so if I press this button, you can see that it goes down or up. That can come in handy. Here of course you can change all these other things, such as these here I have here on the side. Whoa, it changes pretty damn fast actually, but it's cool. So you have your light and your side. You have the just some light settings, your ambient lighting, and here you can see all these settings for your interior lighting, what color you want, you know, Caribbean, Vision, Impulse. Ooh, I like the Impulse. Solar and Maritime. You can see it a little bit over here, but I can tell you it looks a lot better when it's darker. And let's go to the normal settings. We have settings for everything: connected devices, users, system, repair things. But let's just go to the basic settings. Your date and time, what software it has. This is important. Here you can change the settings for your screens. So for example, for the head-up display, you can change how big it is, how bright it is, and the rotation. The MMI screen, the virtual cockpit, which is basically this. And now it's set to none, and if I set it on how much you use the meter. It will show that. You can set your average speed, driving time and distance, and of course the date. But let's keep it to none. It's pretty cool. You can change things for in the back. You can the only settings you have in the front for in the back is to block the air conditioning. So let's go back to home, and in media you can of course connect your Bluetooth devices, or you connect them with the USB or whatever you want. You can see your messages, the news and the weather. Here we can see the weather. It's now light cloudy. It's a little bit cloudy, and it's about 17 degrees, and it will be a maximum of 19 and a minimum of 9. Pretty huge difference. You can see them in multiple days as well. I must say that this system looks a lot more advanced than I have seen in other cars. A lot more modern. Here you have all these settings for the climate control. Now it's set to 20.5 degrees on the left seat and 21 on the right. The air conditioning is turned on, of course. A lot of settings. Some nice buttons. This is the camera button. And as you can see, this car has a 360 degrees camera system. And this is the camera for in the front. Pretty cool. Let's see if we can change this a little bit. Now it's set to the front, but we can set it to rear camera, and of course beautiful lines for driving. These are the side cameras, and this is from the top view. This is for the rear view, so let's just keep it in the front. And you can also simply press here for what you want to see. Let's see the full car. We can see some people walking over there. You can even look around a little bit, and that's pretty cool. It's very easy to park like this. You can also press the 3D button. Oh, would you look at this? Looking around your car like this. That's pretty cool. So I must say, the infotainment system, it gets a perfect 10, because I had a lot of fun simply playing with it for a few minutes. So now we have seen everything in the front. So now let's go and take a look in the back to see if we have enough space there, and if it's not too difficult to sit there, because it is of course the coupe line. And yeah, with a coupe line you kind of have to give in a little bit on the space you have, but I think it will be fine because this car is huge. So let's go. Beautiful frameless doors here as well. Seems to be enough space in it, and yeah, it has more than enough space. So let's close the door. Now, as you can see, more than enough space. Even at the front I have a whole lot of space to sit. My head is not touching the roof. I still have a little bit left, so maybe for the taller people they might have some trouble, but for the average people there's more than enough space here in the back. Now let's look at the quality in the back. I must say that the seats are still looking beautiful. Over here you have 12-volt slot and 2 USB ports. A little screen over here, and this is what the little screen looks like when it illuminates. The vents over there, and that's basically it. You have 2 lights over here. Not as much quality as in the front, but it still looks beautiful. Of course, this car also has the panoramic roof, and you can control them with these buttons over there, and as you can see, it's a huge double panoramic roof, letting in a lot of light. So that was the video for today. I hope you guys liked it, and if you liked it, maybe subscribe to the channel and like the video. Comment down below what car you would like to see next, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye.